I'm Harrison Graham. Let's hop into a Chicago Bears Now mailbag. First place Bears. It's got a good ring to it. Hashtag Bears says the conversation changed around Ryan Poles with player development and the moves he made this offseason. Well, I've seen a lot on social media about, maybe Ryan Poles deserves more credit. And look, when you win, you get credit. When you lose, you don't, right? That's kind of just how it works. But there's been some tangible things he's done that have clearly led to success. Number one was hiring Ben Johnson. Now, that's like the easiest decision he'll ever make. But you still get credit. You convinced him to come, right? Like Ben Johnson had enough juice and enough leverage where he could have gone to ownership, to Kevin Warren, and been like, I'm down to come to Chicago, but I want my own GM. Now, the Bears might have said no to that, but he could have done that. And he said, no, I want to work with Ryan. I like some of the pieces here. Let's work hand in hand. Clearly, I think Ben has more juice in the organization than Ryan. But listen, you get some credit there for hiring Ben Johnson. You rebuilt the offensive line. Again, I think Ben had influence, but still, you trade a 6th-round pick for Jonah Jackson. He's been a top 10 guard in the NFL. You trade a 4th for Joe Thuney. Again, the Thuney one, that's a pretty easy trigger to pull. But you still did it, and you got good value on it, and it's paid off. And you got a pretty team-friendly extension on that one. And the draft class is starting to show promise. Early on, it's like, I don't know. Colston Loveland's a big-time player. Like the stats may not be big. He's a big-time player. He's been blocking well. He's a mismatch as a receiving option. Luther Burden's very explosive. Kyle Monangai in the 7th round. Ozzy Trapilo is now starting at left tackle. Like you're getting a lot of contributions there. Luke Newman as a 6th-round pick came in a couple weeks ago and played pretty well for half a game when Jonah Jackson had to step out. It's been a good year for Ryan. It's been a good year for Ryan Poles. Now, that doesn't mean all of a sudden like his 4-year track record is superb, but that trade with Carolina's started to age even better, right? Like a lot of the pieces you got in that deal, the development you've seen under this new staff, Darnell Wright has been a better player than Jalen Carter this year. I'm not saying that'll be the case moving forward, but this year he has. So, I think if you're Ryan Poles, you're sleeping a lot better at night than you were this time last year. How happy are you with Ryan Poles currently? Approval rating, scale of 1 to 100, certainly a passing grade. And listen, as long as Ben is here, you feel comfortable enough. Ben's going to have a lot of say in a lot of these decisions. And, I trust his football mind there. And I think in collaboration, they could do some good things. So I'd probably put it somewhere in the, mid-high 70s. Like it's certainly a passing grade right now. And, this time last year in the offseason, it was like, do you just fire this guy? But hey, things have turned a corner here. All right, Jose, appreciate the super chat. Who is the X factor in a potential Super Bowl run? FGB. X factor is always like things you wouldn't like, not necessarily like your headliners. Like you would just say like the running game, but that's not an X factor. That's like you're gonna do that. I don't know. Is it like Jalen Johnson? Weirdly enough, like he kind of eased back into that last game. Like, can he be a shutdown guy in the playoffs? We'll see. He got beat a couple times. I don't think he's quite tip-top Jalen Johnson right now, but by the time the playoffs get here, can he get back to that level? Who knows? He soft tissue stuff, surgery, you just don't know. I think he could be an X factor. Could one of those could like a Javon Dexter be an X factor? Like, could he just get hot in the playoffs and have multiple sacks or something like that? So there's some random guys you could point to. Like, I think if Jalen can get back to being a true CB1, like you're feeling pretty good about the secondary. I mean, you got Kevin Byard who's balling. Nishan Wright, if Tyreek Stevenson's playing, he's been more good than bad this year. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I think he's an X factor potentially, just kind of a Swiss Army knife. Kyler Gordon. So those are a few guys I would point to. Everyday barbecue and cooking. Imagine if we had a legit pass rusher. Yeah, and that's why we've kind of had those talks. Like, okay, is that like the big swing you make this offseason? Like, would you just take a swing at Max Crosby if he became available? Like, this is clearly our top need. We get this. We have no roster weaknesses. Do you just go do it? Something you'd think about. Something you'd think about very, very hard. Da-da-da, na-na-na. Guys, new FGB gear. Chatsports.com. This is the new shirt /FGB shirt. Now, we have a Link that just goes to both this and the hoodie, which is chatsports.com/FGB. But if you want to go to the hoodie link specifically, chatsports.com/FGB hoodie, look at that thing. I mean, that is a sick looking hoodie. I told you guys we're up in the merch game. We got a new design with the FGB gear, the shirts, the hoodie. Spam FGB in the chat. Get your gear today. Links in the comments, in the live chat if you're watching live. Chatsports.com/FGB. If you want to go specifically to the shirt or the hoodie, it's /FGB shirt or /FGB hoodie. Click and shop today. Take advantage. Okay, Mike Zero Source. The Bears are divine intervention. I made a joke that since the new Pope is from Chicago, the Bears have a prayer. Now the Bears are 9-3. There's a lot of like TikTok talk about the Pope being the reason the Bears are 9-3. Listen, is he the Sister Jean of the Bears? Loyola Chicago, also in Chicago. Whatever it is, I'll take it. I mean, it's the Bears need everything they can get right now. So yeah, shout out to the Pope, baby. Bear down. All right, Fago 95. How do we think Trapilo will stack against Parsons? Are we worried? That's clearly a matchup to watch, right? If I'm Ben Johnson, I am trying. I want Ozzy Trapilo to be one-on-one against Micah Parsons as little as possible. Single-digit times would be my goal. I think you'll see a lot of 12 personnel, some 13 personnel, chipping with the backs. There will probably be a select few plays where they ask Ozzy to block one-on-one there, and he's got to win his fair share. He's going to get beat a few times by Micah. When he does, can Caleb avoid the disastrous play? I would not consider a sack a disastrous play. What you need to avoid, the strip sack, hit the arm as you throw, all that stuff. So we'll see if Ozzy can hold up. I would imagine Ben Johnson has a specific game plan to try and avoid those situations as often as possible. Subscribe to the channel if you want free and daily Bears content. We go live every single Monday, Thursday, and game day. 3:25 game, we'll probably go live at 2. We're going to be rocking and rolling here on Sunday, but we'll have daily content leading up to the game. We're doing our weekly subscriber battle with our Packers channel. Mailbags every live show as well, just like this one, so go ahead and subscribe. All right, Prometheus, will Ben Johnson win Coach of the Year? To me, it's him or Mike Vrabel. I don't know how you argue against Ben Johnson if he wins the NFC North. Because that's the one thing, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to downplay Vrabel. I think he's done an incredible job. And, he probably had less talent on the roster to work with when he took the job compared to Ben. But I do think the AFC East is easier than the NFC North, especially considering Buffalo's clearly taken some level of a step back. That roster as a whole isn't as good. But it's still really impressive, especially if they sweep the Bills and win that division. But I think winning the NFC North is more impressive. I just do. So, if he doesn't win it, he'll probably get second. Either way, he's done a hell of a job. Eddie Jackson, if all Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson are full go with Nashawn Wright and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who are the odd men out? Well, and I know Jalen and Kyler were on pitch counts, but I think they tipped their hand a little bit this week with C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He played 100% of the snaps. I don't think they want him coming off the field. Now, maybe it's like 10% of those go to Kyler, and they get Kyler on the field in other packages at times as well. But I would guess in a vacuum, Kyler or C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the rest of the way, I would guess C.J. Gardner-Johnson outsnaps him until proven otherwise. And I don't think Nashawn Wright's coming off the field at outside corner. So do you stagger Tyreek and Jalen as Jalen continues to ramp up? Again, do you give Nashawn Wright one drive off a game or something like that? I mean, I think Dennis Allen will continue to mix and match, but Nashawn Wright, he's making plays every week. I know he gets beat some, but when he's forcing takeaways, that's hard to argue against. So we'll see what they do. It's a good problem to have, but it'll be interesting to navigate as they go here. Packers Hate Week continues. Get the FGBs down in the chat. You know what to do. And again, chatsports.com/FGB. Get your gear today. Eddie Zuniga, even if we win the majority of our last 5 games, how realistic is Super Bowl contention with our defense? Well, if you get healthy, I think it's at least on the table. If Tremaine and TJ are back and the secondary has most of its pieces available, the back seven's elite. Now, is the defensive line good enough? That's the question. Is the defensive line good enough? We'll see. Montez is going to need to play well in the playoffs, probably. They need Grady Jarrett and Javon Dexter to play well. I think Jarrett's been pretty good the last few weeks. That knee is healthy. He looks better. Can Austin Booker make a splash play here and there? He's been a little quiet the last couple games. I actually saw Joe Tryon Shoinka's pass rush win rate last game was 19%, so maybe he continues to get some opportunities. He's actually pretty good against the run, too. Look, and I'll just add on top of all of it, who is the most dominant team in the NFL right now? Last week I would have said the Rams, and I still think they're the most complete team in the NFC. They just lost to Carolina. My point is, this is one of those years in the NFL where it does truly feel like, I don't know, there's 6, 8, 9 teams that could end up in the Super Bowl. I think at this exact moment, the Bears are one of those teams. And the fact that we're saying that is pretty remarkable. So I don't know what a percentage of it is. Is it 10%? I mean, 10% is still pretty high. There's a chance. That's the point. All right, more super chats. Appreciate you, Chris. Is there a possibility the Bears dominate Green Bay Sunday? I mean, that would be a stretch, but they dominated the Eagles on the road. Now, I think the Packers are a better team than the Eagles right now, even though the Eagles beat them a few weeks ago. But, sure. I wouldn't predict they dominate. I think this will be a good football game. I think this will be one of those, this comes down to the last 5 or 6 minutes, whereas the Eagles game shockingly didn't. So that would be my guess. I think it'll be a good ball game. That's why I got Bears 26-24. Give me a follow on social media. It's at HGramNFL. Got to catch up on some questions over the weekend following the Eagles game. Spent time with family, a holiday weekend, all that stuff. But I will do that, and any new questions that come in, I will catch up on those as well. Bear down.